Hi, hello, and welcome. My name's Ginger Lumen, and I'm an international keynoter, consultant, author, and teacher with a nonprofit educational service center called ESDAC, based in Hutchinson, Kansas. Glad to be with you here tonight for another one of our Facebook Live chats. I guess I'm your host here most of the time. We'll catch Katie back up, who was here once before. We'll get her coming back into some of these coming up soon. So tonight's topic is all about maker education and PBL. How are these alike? How are they different? This is a question I get asked on a regular basis because I work in both arenas with my life practice PBL work and with my STEAM Maker camps, where teachers shift from their traditional STEM classroom activities to a more maker education approach. So when people find out that I have experience in both areas, guess what the next question is? Yeah, you got it. What's the difference? And so that's the topic tonight. I'm going to say hi to Rachel and Jill and Amanda, and I think some of these folks have actually asked me this question too, and I'll tell you, I've gotten better at answering it, I think, so hopefully, here we go. Before we go too deep though, I do have a confession tonight. I have been running crazy hectic all day, so one, I don't have any cool paper slides today, as if they were really cool anyway. And two, this actually might be a quicker than usual video, or not. We'll see once it's over. I don't know. So, hi Sue, glad to have you in there. Thanks for the picture with you in the book, Sue. I loved it. And Janine, so glad to be here. Hey, Janine, I hear that your guys' soft deadline went really well with the Canes Arcade. Can't wait to see the final deadlines on it. That's awesome. So. All right, and said hi to Jill there. I'm going to just keep going here, so, because people watch this on YouTube, and I think 2 people have seen the videos, and they're like, I don't even know who she's talking to. Anyway, this is a live Facebook chat, so there are people actually watching, and even though you can't hear them, I'm moving on. So I would love to hear from you guys who are watching, which you're doing a great job of. Even if you're just coming in later and you want to come with a simple hello, don't worry, I'm not putting you on a spam list or anything. I just want to make this more personal, so it's not just me talking to a phone full of faceless lurkers. So say hello. Let me hear what you're thinking, okay? And if you feel like giving this video a bit of a share, that's all right too. So before I forget to, September's giveaway. Okay, that was my Oprah impression. I think it was really bad. It was way better in my head. But anyway, September's giveaway. This month, we're going to be giving away 5 sets of Life Practice PBL units. That's 35 PBL units to people who've shared a picture of their students engaged in some tasty PBL when you share it on the Life Practice PBL page. And honestly, I think if I counted those who've already shared in the video thread, the last video, which I didn't intend to count those, but if I did, that would be exactly 2 winners out of the 5. So in other words, you have a really great chance to win. And yeah, Sue, I am silly today. I got my hair lightened more than normal today as we're going into fall. It's going to be fine. I'm just going to say it's going to be fine. So don't worry. You can show your kids' faces. If you can't show your kids' faces for whatever reason, just show their hands. And if you can't show their hands or anything part of them or over the shoulder or anything, just show a product they've made. And you don't have to tell us what school or grade or anything if you're not allowed to. But if you are allowed, hey, brag your kiddos up. Just post your picture and you're entered into the drawing to win one of the sets for you in your own classroom. And if you share the chat tonight and all of our September chats, you'll be entered again. These Pbl Card Units are the units we've highlighted in other videos previous to this one. So if you want to see them all, you can just pop over to lifepracticepbl.org. Teachers tell us they love using them. So back to the topic tonight. The intersection of Maker Ed and PBL. Oh, Janine, what if we can't really share pics? Oh, you are a unique situation. So like I said, if you can just show what they've been building, or can you show your kids' hands? That's probably iffy too, isn't it? So just show what they've built. I know you've got a unique situation in your school. And Jill, I saw that. I saw it. I know that we were talking about, I guess maybe I didn't respond yet. I tell you, y'all, the fair is in town. And that's the thing that my husband does. He's been working 18 to 20 hours a day, and I'm like a fair wife. not a good wife, just a fair wife, which means that I've got to be there almost every day, do some support with that. So I'll get your guys' comments back. Jill, I want to talk to you about those. I think that you're on the cusp of whether they're true PBL or not. I think a lot of yours so could go either way, depending on how you're interacting with the kids. So we can talk more personally on that later. So let's get to the topic, intersection of Maker Ed and PBL. First, what is PBL? Well, we've talked a lot about what PBL and what it isn't over the most recent live chat. So if we were to put it into a succinct nutshell, it's learning by doing. Students are given or they find a challenge or a question that they can't wait to dive into, and in the process of answering the question or the challenge, they learn stuff. And there's a ton of other details, but as its root, students are learning by doing. So then what's Maker Ed? What's Maker Education? There's also a lot of definitions out there around in the world about what actually consists of a makerspace in schools. And we recognize they're also part of the creative world outside of school too. Makerspaces are. They're adults who are in makerspaces. So quite simply, in my opinion, a makerspace is a creation station. These are my own thoughts. I'm not sure I've ever heard anybody else say that before. So they're spaces where folks go to create stuff, sometimes to beautify the world and sometimes for more of a functional purpose. So then maker education and maker spaces in schools, to me, these are again creation stations, but more than that. It's a place where kids can learn, relearn maybe, how to be creative problem finders and problem solvers, where we can go to build things for fun or for a purpose. And above all, they help foster computational thinking or a computational mindset in kids. I'm going to say that again, computational thinking. You know, what that is, it's the idea of if this, then that sort of process. If this happens, then that happens. And they're thinking through it. And it's fun to do it with stuff like robotics and circuitry, 3D printing, wearable technology, even cardboard construction. I had a group of high schoolers who are building maker spaces for teachers. I can't give too much of it away. You might want to look in that. I might actually see if I can get them involved in this sometime, or maybe a different project. They were interviewing me on what to put in their makerspace, and they were talking to me a whole lot about tools, but like PBL, it's a whole lot more about the process than the stuff. So, if maker education is all about fostering not only that computational thinking and that creative problem finding and creative problem solving, but they do it in a very student-centered, teacher-independent situation. And this sounds a lot like PBL, yeah? And it should. It should. It comes from much of the same background, the research, and student independence, student-centered, learning by getting your hands on stuff and doing stuff. Yeah. So what makes it different? I'd have to say, and again, I know I'm going to hear the gurus in the world groan here, and I can hear them already firing up their keyboards. PBL just smells a little bit more like school, especially in a beginner to PBL classroom, right? Thanks, Carmen. Thanks. Teachers give challenges or questions in PBL. And they can do that in maker education too. You can give kids a challenge of something to make. And they also don't always give challenges in advanced PBL classrooms. We can ask the kids, what do you want to do? It's messy there, right? Things are made, they're shared publicly in both. Things are created for a purpose in both of them. A lot of things are similar. Often PBL is done in a content classroom, which centers around one central content area while incorporating a bunch of other content areas into it, right? Maker spaces, you don't really see the content per se, but it's there. Some are going to see STEM. Some are going to see art. Some are going to see construction, a shop class, Some are going to see facts. Some of us will see communications, and those are all right. But the content doesn't lead the day in a makerspace. The learning by making does. It's about the design process. You find a problem. Well, why is it a problem? Well, what can you do about it? Well, make something. Now make it better. What's the problem now? And it's round and round, that design process. And there's a lot of them. If you Google the term design process, you're going to see a whole lot out there. So if you don't know how to do something in a makerspace, okay, look it up, practice it, get better at it at your own pace. All in all, PBL smells more like school. If I was to put STEM, PBL, maker education on a continuum that's based on more or less student independence, I think I'd probably have STEM with the most teacher-centered, even though it's way less teacher-centered, or it should be, than most traditional classrooms. And I'd have Maker Ed on the far side of student independence. And all three would intersect, like Venn diagram style. I mean, how do you have a continuum where they, I don't know. Maybe a series of chain links, right? I guess. Where's my paper slides, y'all? I need this. I need a visual here. And I've tried to build this before. I just can't get it to, from my mind's eye onto paper. So if somebody's really artistic out there, translate this, yo. So there you are. It's just some food for thought about maker education, maker spaces, PBL with a little STEM thrown in. And if you enjoyed anything here, please do share this video. If there's anything you disagree with, comment here gently. And also don't forget to upload your pictures of your class in PBL Action as your way to enter the September giveaway. Okay, that was better, Oprah, but it still wasn't great. Hey, Brent, good. Glad to see you. I just mentioned shop class, so glad you're with us. Brent gives me grief because I call him a shop teacher. He's like, hi, it's not 1970 anymore. Anyway, so there's where we're at. If you want to know more about maker education, please do reach out to me on this Life Practice PBL Facebook page. I'd love to help you and your colleagues make the leap. And if you want to know more about PBL, you can always read my blog over at gingerlumen.com, or you can buy my book called Lessons for Life Practice Learning, what some folks are calling the Bible of PBL. Which does make me uncomfortable, but I'm not telling them to stop, so, you know. The book's available now on the ESDAC shop, or it's over on Amazon. And if you're interested more in maker education, you can head over to steammakercamp.org. Both the book and Steam Maker Camp are great ideas to get going to develop into a student-centered classroom where kids are expected to take a good deal of responsibility for their own education. Because really, if we want kids to be practicing and get ready, if we want kids to be ready for real life right now, it's time for us to start practicing real life right now, right? I want to say hey to Terry. She jumped in here. Glad to see you. And Cindy and other people are going to jump in right as I'm jumping out, but have fun. With that, I just want to say goodnight. I'll be back again next week, September 22nd. The fair will be over by then, so I should be back to my oh so highly organized self. And September 22nd, we're talking about assessing PBL. How do we know if they're learning or not? That's the prime question that every single person asks. Because too many times we've seen a classroom where they call it PBL, or like, go kids! And they end up not learning anything that we needed them to learn. And so in a good, strong PBL program, what do we do? I can't wait to see you guys there. Share it if you would with folks. And don't forget to share this video too. So, good night, everybody. Good to see you. Thanks.